Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's my first update in a long time. I've just got the car back this morning from having PPF and vinyl applied. I've been without the car for a long time now, which has been quite painful. I've had it out of my possession since the end of September, about 5-6 weeks. The vinyl stage of the upgrade treatment took a lot longer than originally foreseen due to some hurdles we encountered, but it's all completed now. There's still one more stage to go, which will be reapplication of some Gtechniq on the nose to recoat the clam after it having been repainted. So I'm just going to go over a little bit more in detail now, as best I can in these horrible conditions, because I'm actually struggling to get the car nice and dry to get it back into the garage at the moment. But we'll do our best. So what happened to the car? So, well, basically a few months ago, probably late summer, I'd seen that Seriously Lotus had started making these aftermarket arch vents, which is you'll all have seen from the Cup cars, 380 and the 430 that look the business. They do have some actual functionality, but personally I think that's quite a minimal aspect of the upgrade. For me, it's more about the physical look of the upgrade more than anything else. And I'd kind of seen them and thought that was great, but thought that it would be a lot of work to get them installed, and did I really want them that much? So time went by and I didn't really think much more of it, and I messaged a bodywork guy that I know that's done some work on other cars of mine. I've always been really pleased just to see how confident he was with fiberglass and whether it would actually be something that could be done. And he seemed really confident. He did a lot of work with TVRs. The company's RJM Bodyworks over at Stowmarket, and the guy in question is Robin, who's a very skilled bodywork specialist. And then about the same time, coincidentally, Mr. George Williams messaged me and said that he had the Seriously Lotus arch vents replicated, or was getting them replicated in carbon fibre, and would I be interested? So I hummed and hawed and thought, what the hell, I'll jump in. Part of the reason for that was that I was already planning to get the nose of the car resprayed, because it had a number of paint chips on it from when I picked it up at Silverstone, because it was a year old when I bought it, that had never been remedied. And the difference between having the front clam resprayed and having the front clam resprayed and having the vents fitted was £500, which I didn't think was terrible. So I decided to go for it. So I am number one. I am the first one, as far as I'm aware, to have this done. George obviously is now following up with a whole line of carbon fibre parts under his Helslow brand. But these are the first ones, as far as I'm aware, that have been fitted. Now, obviously, there was a lot of trepidation involved with regards to having the carbon vents fitted, and how would they blend in with the bodywork, and what would they look like. Robin seemed very confident from the off, and obviously that inspired confidence in me in allowing him to cut holes in my car. But I was still quite worried, really, to be honest, as to what they'd come out like. And I said to him, basically, I really, as much as he could, wanted a seamless join around where the vents were fitted. So essentially what he did is he cut holes in the clam and sank the carbon fibre mould in and filled and blended it, and as you can see, it's just perfect. No other word for it. It looks as if it was part of the car from new, without doubt. There is no discernible join. No one that's seen it in the flesh yet can figure out how he did it, So I just think he's basically a wizard, because it's bloody amazing. And he also, on top of that, obviously did a brilliant job with repainting and matching the rather unusual colour that my car is, which is Nautilus Blue. So straight from getting it back from Robin, because I wanted to get protection on it, it went straight over to Michael Slack at MKS Customs in Peterborough. I've used Michael before, very talented vinyl guy. He then proceeded to black out the headlights, as we can see, which the car had before anyway, and then black out the lower intakes, just like on a 380, which the car had before as well. And then in between that, he's applied PPF just on the nose. Now that turned out to be complicated simply because when Michael came to fit the PPF, which he had to do without a kit, because he had to work around the black vinyl, obviously he couldn't put the PPF on top of the black vinyl because it would change it from satin to gloss. So he had to actually literally hand cut all the way around the shapes on both the intakes and the headlights, and he's done it amazingly well. I can hardly see, he reckons there's about a 0.5 millimeter join around the edge, where he's done it by hand, but it really looks amazing. There is a line across here, but you can't really get around that, I'm afraid, and it's part of the price to pay for protecting the nose from those stone chips, which we all know Lotuses are quite vulnerable to due to their soft paint and plastic bodywork. But the overall look at the carbon intakes is just outstanding. Robin even backed them up with stainless steel mesh, which he sourced himself, which actually matches the weave of the mesh on the front panel here. And I'm really over the moon. I didn't have the internal wheel arches cut open to make use of that pressure. Again, for me it was cosmetic and it just looks the business. Robin insisted that there was plenty of drainage. If water gets in, obviously that's being tested straight away today. One little point to note is that the vents themselves aren't an exact match for the 430 Cup or the 380 Cup cars. I think the mould has been stolen from an Elise Cup, and therefore the shape is very slightly different. But to my eye, they look fantastic. You can see them from in the cabin, and basically I'm a really happy boy. Any questions, comment below, and I'll see you next time, guys.